Welcome to Built for You, the show where we highlight the tools inside Jackrabbit that help you run and grow your youth activity center, and the people who help bring those tools to life. I'm Adam, and today we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the release of Appointments, our flexible scheduling feature for private lessons, assessments, and more. Jackrabbit is designed to give youth activity centers the best possible tools to stay organized, save time, and create a great experience for your students and families, whether you run a dance school, swim school, gymnastics gym, or something else. The Appointments feature is the perfect example of that mission. In this inaugural episode, you'll hear from Jeannie Gloglowski, the product manager behind the feature, and Rochelle O'Brien from Defy Gravity Dance Company, who was instrumental in shaping it with real-world feedback. Now, let's jump into the conversation. Jeannie, can you tell me a little bit about why this feature was developed in the first place?
Initially people were clamoring for solutions to help them offer their private lessons in a better way, something that had more dynamic scheduling instead of forcing them into the rigid recurring instances that our classes offers. We also had people asking for room rentals, something to help with parent conferences, volunteer sessions. So we really took a step back and looked at what other software people were using, like Acuity and Calendly, and we realized we really needed to come up with something that would live inside Jackrabbit, that would let them have a booking feature at their fingertips that would work alongside classes and events.
And Rochelle, when you first started getting involved with Appointments and giving feedback, what was the main problem that you guys were facing over at Defy Gravity?
So the thing that we really wanted to use Appointments for was for our solo and duo scheduling, which is, I guess, the equivalent to privates. And then we realized we could also use it for room rentals. So it was something that we didn't have a way of streamlining in Jackrabbit. And so the Appointments feature was very exciting to me because then I knew that I could help shape the way that it was going to work for us.
And during the development of Appointments, what were some of the things that you kind of pointed out and wanted to adjust as the feature moved through production?
So we were excited to use the features that Jackrabbit was talking about, and we really were focused on room availability. So for us, it's studio availability, and for instructor availability, and then just making sure that none of our students had any conflicts so that they weren't, trying to be booked into a solo when they also had a class at the same time.
Very important to make sure you don't have those overlaps happening in there.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the other important thing was also just making sure that we didn't have anybody in our office booking a teacher in for a private lesson when they actually weren't available.
Yeah, all of that conflict management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm glad we got that in there.
You did. Yeah.
So, Jeannie, Appointments have come a long way since they first released, with all of the enhancements that have happened. What are some of the biggest milestones or challenges along the way that kind of shaped the feature that we have today, 1 year later?
Let's see. I'll start with the challenges, which ties into what Rochelle was saying about conflict management. It's a spider web in the background, and that has been a challenge of looking at all the scheduling pieces of staff availability, staff schedules, room schedules, student schedules. So that has definitely, been something that we've had to weed our way through. But the triumphant moments, I know for myself and our clients, I'm assuming as well, have been when we got appointment bookings into the parent portal, especially the ability to book recurring appointments. That was a really big one. And also appointments in the staff portal. So those are two external pieces that, again, once appointments were in those places, it was a big time saver for administrators not to have to manually manage every single little piece of the appointments.
How did feedback from clients actually using it impact what changed and was developed throughout the process of appointments?
To a certain extent, we knew we would be putting appointments in those places. We really worked to get small pieces of value out and then get feedback so that we'd get usable pieces out to them in those places. And then definitely our clients have helped us kind of orchestrate the direction of enhancements that are coming down the pipeline in the future for where we go with appointment bookings next.
Got it. So like the prioritization, we kind of knew what we needed to put in, but like what gets developed first.
What comes up sooner and then later. Yeah.
And then Rochelle, from your perspective, what changes or updates as appointments have been updated over the last year have made the biggest difference on your team's daily operation?
Good question. So it's lovely to be able to book the appointments, but the bigger part of the picture for us was to streamline all of the connectivity of everything. So when we book an appointment, we now have an automatic email sent to the instructor if one is attached to that particular calendar event or that particular appointment. And a confirmation email is sent to any of the students and their families that have been booked. So that for us was a huge improvement. In addition, the calendar event links that are attached to those emails were incredibly important. It just streamlines everything. And then there were things added in like the ability to add one or multiple students in different types of appointments that we could set up and make it incredibly customizable. That was a huge improvement. And I loved the process of being able to explain exactly what we needed in those phone calls and emails and things that were going back and forth. Other thing that was really important for us was to be able to have the fees automatically charge. And then if for any reason we had to cancel an appointment, have the fees, the option to delete the fees. So when we were booking these appointments, the client's accounts were automatically being charged. And again, because it's so customizable for each different kind of appointment, we could have different fees. And that was incredibly helpful for our team.
Yeah, so just like the level of customization through that communication, fees.
Yes.
That's all. Yeah, that sounds like it. I know the whole manually customizing everything can be really time consuming. So that's awesome that was able to.
Yeah, like it's a little bit of setup at the beginning, and then our team knows that we just once it's booked in the appointments, everyone receives the information they need. So it's incredibly streamlined.
Jeannie, when you think about the why behind these enhancements, what kind of impact do you see or hope for businesses like Defy Gravity?
I think it's twofold. Probably mentioned it before. We want our clients to be able to grow. We want to see them be creative. We also want to see their businesses grow, and they need the right tools to be able to do that. So, and whatever growth means to them, whether that's more students, more revenue, more space, you still need the right tools. So this dynamic booking feature, we've really tried to deliver in a way that it can be very, very flexible, albeit we're still enhancing things. And then the time savings. So I guess in a way that's growth too. You can't buy back time. So if the appointments feature, as it becomes more automated and more usable, is helping our clients save time, then that's time that they get to spend enriching their students, classes and programs, and more time that the parents can spend with their kids as well.
And Rochelle, from your side, how have these improvements translated into real benefits, either for families, instructors, front desk staff?
So I think the use of appointments has definitely given us a time savings. So we were able to actually set up much better systems around our bookings for privates and rentals. And that was a much better thing for us in terms of just the ability to ensure that everyone had the correct communication, that there were no errors on that created on our end by multiple email system or multiple step system. So definitely time savings, but also just clarity of systems, clarity of like the process of booking these different things so that our clients rely on those booking emails, our staff rely on those booking emails, and then our office staff, our administrative staff, just know that everything has already been completed so they don't have as many steps and they can move on to the next thing. So maybe more productivity would be, productivity would be a definite plus.
Yeah. And Jeannie, we kind of already talked about this a little bit earlier. Was there any, off the top of your head, like examples of feedback that really influenced how appointments were developed, or specific changes in like prioritization, either from Rochelle or other folks testing it?
Yes, most definitely. One thing we have in flight right now, and it was feedback we were getting from all different directions. And that is, when we first started appointments, the feedback, and Rochelle mentioned this about checking conflicts, was so important to prevent overbooking. So we kind of overdid it. And then we heard a lot of feedback that said, can you please loosen the reins on that? We want to, for administrators, they want to be able to prevent the double booking, but they also want to see it and possibly be able to override it. So right now, actually in development, we have a fix for that, which is going to be another time-saving thing. So right now, we've listened. We're going to loosen the reins, and the enhancement will actually show administrators where there's a conflict, what it is, and then they can just override it, as opposed to us just blocking it completely. And then now that people have been, creating hundreds and hundreds of bookings, we're getting a lot of feedback from folks right now who are like, please get all of these out of my face. So we need to go back and we need to build better filters. So we'll be coming back around. We know that we're prioritizing reporting and filters so that administrators can control their view, and added abilities to work with their appointments on the activities calendar, more functionality for being able to post fees. So we are still gathering the feedback. It's coming in strong, and we're enjoying listening to all of it, and are expecting more and more enhancements for appointments to be coming right up around the corner.
Jumping ahead a little bit, getting my future question.
Sorry.
In there.
I'm excited to get back on with appointments updates.
And Rochelle, in your process of working with the team, giving feedback, do you feel like your feedback was listened to throughout the process, appreciated and implemented, either on this or any other things that you may have given feedback on within Jackrabbit?
Yes, absolutely. So my experience with Jackrabbit is that when I bring up a concern or a challenge that we are facing, it's either dealt with in the moment. Like if it's something that's time sensitive, it's dealt with in the moment. And if it's something that's sort of already in development, my feedback is always taken very seriously, which is nice. And although we may not have every single request able to be implemented, most of them have been to this point. So that's been really great.
That's what we like to hear. Without giving too much away, what is next for appointments?
Yeah, I can say for sure the ability to start reporting, filtering and reporting. So, in the beginning, we were providing appointments. A lot of people didn't have a lot of bookings, so it wasn't as big of a need there. It definitely is now. So can be on the lookout for better filtering capabilities, the ability to hide old appointments if you don't want to be seeing them, and be able to report on the different types of appointments, how many bookings you have, who's teaching those appointments, revenues for certain types of appointments. All of those things are going to be coming down the pipeline real soon.
That's great. Rochelle, is there anything that excites you that either is coming or that you'd like to see come in appointments other than what we talked about previously?
Well, you just mentioned it. So the thing for me that has been on our wish list, and I don't even think I mentioned it yet, was reporting. So it would be really helpful for us, and especially in terms of like our KPIs and things for instructors. It would be really important for us to be able to have that reporting and to be able to just pull a report like, you had 23 privates this month. This other teacher only had 10 privates this month. How are we tracking that? What does that look like? What are we improving on? Those kinds of things. I think the reporting features would be really lovely.
Well, I'm glad that those two things lined up.
I think because everything else is so customizable, it's not like we're lacking anything. And if there's something that we want to be able to use the appointments for, we can pretty much just create it because it's so customizable.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that is awesome to hear.
Yeah.
We're definitely aware of still a lot of wants and needs for appointments, but it is great to know that it's meeting the core functionality, like that it is doing what it was intended to do.
It's made our lives better. I'm not sad about that.
That's exactly what we want to hear. That's our goal, is to make our organization's lives better, easier, save time.
Efficient.
Efficient, exactly. Well, it's been awesome hearing from both sides, the creation process and the client feedback side of things, and how it's making a difference. I want to thank you both for taking some time to chat with me.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Rochelle. I'm so grateful for all the time that you spend with me, going back and forth, whether it's email or our client interviews. It's so helpful. So just know I'm very grateful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win. I'm helping to sort of, in a very small way, co-create and shape the way that the functionality works, and that helps us. So, yeah. I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to contribute. I think that's important as well.
We definitely appreciate your willingness to do so, because we want to build things that you want to use. We don't want to just build things in a vacuum and hope that it is what you want. So yeah. I think it's very, very mutual. Happy that that you're willing to take some time to work with us as well. Thanks so much for joining us on this inaugural episode of Built for You. And a big thank you to Jeannie and Rochelle for sharing their time, experience, and insight. We hope this conversation gives you a peek behind the curtain of how features come to life at Jackrabbit, and sparks fresh ideas for using appointments to save time, streamline your processes, and create great experiences for your students and families. If you're new to Jackrabbit or curious about how appointments can support your youth activity center, check the episode description for a link to connect with our team. We'd love to learn about your goals and help you grow. Join us again next month for more stories, conversations, and feature spotlights designed to help your business thrive with Jackrabbit.